there's another aspect to this, and that's the time focus. You've heard the saying, you either have time or money, or time is money. And there's the money focus, and then there's also the time focus. And I know in American culture, the time focus is very strong. People don't have time, and therefore they value time differently. But for those that are diligent and really value their time, even having time, they are jealous of their time. Just like with any really important subjects, it's important to make examples so that we can have a clear picture about what is being discussed. Because if we're going to talk about that one thing, that one secret, and I call it a secret because I've been told that if you ask 3 different accountants to do your taxes, each one will come up with a different way to do your taxes. And I've also heard that if you call the IRS, you're likely to get a wrong answer. So it doesn't surprise me that if we watch 3 videos or 30 videos or 300 videos, we're likely to get just as many points of view. But what is the one point of view that's not necessarily really being zeroed in on? Like, for example, if you tell 3 different people, I cut my own hair, you're likely to get 3 different responses. Likely anything from, oh wow, that's cool, I wish I knew how to do that, it sounds like a nifty skill to have, to gee, you don't have to be so poor, you don't have to be so tight, gee, let loose of the $10, go get a haircut. Another response might be, I think everybody should cut their own hair. When did having someone else do it get started, or whatever, just, you're going to get different responses. But if you go straight to the source and you ask them, well, why do you cut your own hair? Like if somebody asks me, why do you cut your own hair? I'm likely to say something like, well, I've been cutting my own hair for 30 years, so that's like half my life. That's how I do things. And when I started cutting my own hair, I had plenty of income coming in. I had businesses going on. If people rush to conclusions, they think it's about money all the time. And I call that a money focus. I think that as a culture, sort of groomed, into thinking in money terms and money focus. And no less in the financial independence, retire early community, it's the same thing. And then you have people that just react emotionally no matter what you say, and it's not really a well thought out idea. The principle of live and let live comes to mind here. I mean, trying to tell people what to do. Oh, you should just go get a haircut anyway. The idea that you're telling another adult what they should and shouldn't do is kind of goes contrary to the live and let live principle, which not everybody has yet encountered and much less even embraced. But beyond the money aspect, what other reasons are there to do things? Well, the satisfaction of being independent and not needing a service provider. I know that service encompasses a lot of different businesses, including restaurant business is considered a service. Their food is just a commodity, but you're paying somebody to cook it and bring it, so that's a service. And how many restaurants, I told you we traveled the US all over in our 30s and late 20s. And because of that, we were in different cities and we didn't have our pet little place to go, so we had to find them. And how many restaurants did we have to go to in order to be satisfied and get like a good, not just a good food, good service, good atmosphere. Usually we had to go to 10 restaurants, going from memory, right Angie?
Yeah.
To find one or two.
Yeah.
So we had to endure 8 flops, 8 places that were like, oh my gosh, that spaghetti sauce was awful. You know, I'm not going back there again. Oh my gosh, the ranch dressing was spoiled. Oh my gosh, the service was awful, whatever. You had to go through all of that. Some people say, you know what, I don't have time for this. I don't want to suffer 8 out of 10. I'd rather win 9 or 10 out of 10 to have an enjoyable experience, have a happy experience, have a satisfying experience 10 out of 10 times. And therefore, I'm going to do it myself. You know, that's what that's really all about. And that doesn't mean that you have to be rigid and stone and cement and never again go to a restaurant.
We still eat out.
You know, you still go out, it's just a lot less. And just when you find your pet little place, you can go back. It's the same thing with cutting hair or anything really in life. There's another aspect to this, and that's the time focus. You've heard the saying, there's a kind of saying about you either have time or money, or time is money. And there's the money focus, and then there's also the time focus. And I know in American culture, the time focus is very strong. People don't have time, and therefore they value time differently than someone that has, and it's not just that they value it differently than someone that has more time, because there are people that have time that also value their time very highly. And so just because you have time doesn't mean you waste time. Anything that you have a lot of, there's a potential of being a little bit wasteful or a little bit hasty with. But for those that are diligent and really value their time, even having time, they are jealous of their time. The fine line between somebody being rich in time but being diligent with their time and being jealous of their time, the difference between that and someone that has no time being completely impatient with everything and everybody because they don't have time. Oh, you could have said this in 30 seconds, you know, and what about everybody else that wants the details? That's really selfish. Inconsiderate of other people. The only thing that's being considered is that you have no time. And so we have to be careful when we hear people express ideas, and especially because it's so easy nowadays to express ideas on social media. And there's nothing wrong with expressing ideas in general. It's just that we should search out the real meaning and the real truth and the real secret, if you will, from someone that, you know, has an insight. So the perspective of time is that from two different sides of this conversation, that even within the two different sides, each side has its own compartments. Like when you look at the two sides, either you spend more time working to pile up money to get to a certain level that you believe is going to give you happiness, or you spend the time doing things that you enjoy that just so happen to add more financial independence and stability in your life. That's the secret. But viewed from someone that hasn't done it, just like the guy that hasn't smelled the rose and you're trying to tell him what it smells like, or hasn't ate the, I don't want to say frog legs or crocodile tail, because that stuff's, I don't eat that stuff myself. So, but for lack of an example, you know what I'm saying. And you've seen those pictures, and I don't know if picture is the real word for it, where you see a picture, you look at it, but if you look at it in a different way, and it's not necessarily that you have to move, your eyes have to focus differently in order to pick up a totally different picture. And so it's not a double image, it's an image within an image, but you only see the image you want to see. And sometimes you try really hard to see the other image, but you don't see it, and then eventually you see, oh yeah, okay, this is the image. And a lot of people never see it, and some people it takes them a while to get it. And it's the same thing with the idea of time. whatever stool we're sitting on, and we're looking at it from that point of view, that lens that we're wearing, saying, well, I don't have time to, either way, you're going to spend time. That was the phrase somebody said. Well, either way, you're going to spend time, whether you're just keep piling up more money or whether you do the things that make you happy and at the same time make you more financially independent. You're still going to spend time, but that's looked at from a position of lack of time. You see where I mean? It's a really fine to where once you experience the joy of spending time doing those things that provide fulfillment in your life and joy in your life, there is no more looking at the picture and not seeing the picture, and only seeing picture A and not seeing picture B. You'll see the picture B once you've done the thing, and the way to do the thing is a subject of a whole different video. But I just wanted to discuss the intricacies of like looking at a kaleidoscope where there's so many different images there to look at, where you can look at it from a macro view and just see all these different colors, or you can start zeroing in and looking at every single little design, and then you notice there's more designs within the design and so on and so forth. I hope I was clear on this example. I hope you got something out of that. Thanks for coming to our video. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video and make a comment. Have a wonderful day.